We're going to go through, I'm going to talk about social media first, and then Cheryl's going to talk about the web after me. I'm going to talk about some strategy, some objectives of social media, and also I'm going to show you a couple of projects that I've done in the last few months at the ROM. First of all, before I get started, I just want to say thank you to the Cultural Heritage and Site Management Program here at Centennial College for bringing us all together to share ideas and to network. I think it's really important in our sector to do that, to talk and share all these ideas. So thank you very much. So the ROM has always been a museum in transition. In our 99-year history, we've gone through a bunch of different building expansions. We've developed collections in different areas from our original collection. You can see here, it's that picture, 1930s expansion here, the car hide on the corner. Really just allowing us to share more of our collection with Toronto and Ontario, really. Over the last decade, there's been a tremendous physical transformation at the museum, but also a cultural one. This is really championed by our new director and CEO. She's not new anymore, but Janet Carding, who's really brought in a focus of turning the museum into a real public-focused institution. Instead of lecturing at people, we're now conversing with people, and that's a real shift for the ROM. Our main focus now is to inspire wonder and learning, and we do that by inviting people to tell us what they're interested in and what they want to learn from us, and using our collections and our curatorial staff to provide that to people. So it's a little hard to read there, but part of this cultural shift includes these values, and this really highlights what we live and breathe by at the ROM now. We focus on learning engagement, authoritiveness really just by upholding the rigorous inquiry and study of our curatorial work and research. But stewardship, innovation, and enjoyment. Enjoyment most of all. We want to make sure that the ROM is an enjoyable and interesting place for people to come, and that learning above all else is what people are doing there. Now this started really with social media. We launched our YouTube channel in December of 2007, and really it was just a place to house all of our video content. Cheryl was instrumental in launching a lot of these platforms before I came on board. Our Facebook page launched in March 2008, and we got into the Twitterverse in June 2010. And really, when we started all these social media platforms or accounts, there was no official direction from anyone in senior management. We just started, and we tried stuff, and we saw what worked and what didn't, and we repeated it. There wasn't at the time there was a sort of an intrepid group of early adopters in the museum, Cheryl and I included, who would get together monthly and talk about social media. And the group was cross-departmental. We had people from curatorial, we had people from front of house, we had people from all different areas of the museum who were just interested and knew we had to have a presence. So we would talk about what other museums were doing and how we could leverage social media. And then this group was distilled down into a smaller group of about 5 people. And we set up monthly meetings. We set up, we called them Tech Thursdays, where people could come in and try out social media in a safe environment, ask any question imaginable. No question was a stupid question. And just to try to make people feel comfortable with social media and to encourage their participation in it. And then last July, I came in the role of social media coordinator, and I inherited about 7,500 Twitter followers, about 16,000 likes on Facebook. But the first thing I did was I deployed a consistent posting schedule. If anyone follows us on Facebook or Twitter, you'll notice that we post pretty consistently every week on our Facebook page, and we tweet a lot every day. It's not all original content. It's getting back to people. It's retweets of other people's content, but we're there and we're active, and that's one thing that we didn't do before because we were all doing social media on top of our other jobs, and we just really didn't have time. It's a lot of work if any of you out there manage any social media for a business. Then the next thing I did with Cheryl's help and a few other people around the museum, we developed, or we got published our ROM web and social media guidelines for staff. So this was a couple-year process. We had a few different versions that was much larger. This is about a 9-page document. It used to be around 27, if you can please. So we cut it down a little bit, but it's basically, I call it the social media Bible. I give it to everyone that I talk to about social media at the museum, and it's everything from do's and don'ts to working through what kind of voice you're going to have on social media, what kind of content you're going to share, who your audiences are, all that kind of stuff. And then we also updated board policy to include social media. And then we launched, we just did our first round of staff training. So we brought everyone into a room and we taught them how to tweet, and we taught them how to post on Facebook, how to schedule posts, all that kind of stuff. And really, I've become a resource for staff. So most of my time is spent coaching staff on how to use social media effectively. And then, of course, last but not least, continue to experiment, have fun. Social media is lots of fun. The nitty-gritty stuff can bog you down a little bit, but if you remember that it's supposed to be a fun space, and you're supposed to try and experiment. You know, if you do fail, then you've learned the lesson, and you just make sure you keep that in mind. So this is, I don't know if anyone saw this. This is from August last year. This was a huge experiment on my part. This is a tweet that I sent out. I wondered what would happen if the ROM was funny. What would happen, really, if we tweeted out a joke? You know, everyone thinks that the ROM is very serious and you know, very scholarly and everything, but I wanted to see if I wanted to show a more human side of the museum. I wanted to show that there are actually people that work at the museum that can be down to earth, can be funny, and sort of connect a little more with our community. So Museum Olympics was a hashtag that started in, I think, San Francisco Museum of Modern Art started it. It ran during the Olympics in London, and basically museums were sharing collections, items, and then making sort of a cheeky comment about them and how it related to the Olympics. So this one I sent out. It actually won us the overall medal for Museum Olympics. We got the most retweets. We got a mention in the Wall Street Journal's blog. You know, it got, we were talking with the California Academy of Sciences back and forth about their T-Rex and our T-Rex. Anyway, it was definitely an experiment, a small experiment that won big results. So I tried it again a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know if anyone saw this. Anyone share this? No? Yeah? See, people are laughing. It's great. 372 shares on a T-Rex joke. Are you kidding me? You know, you don't always need to post about scholarly research or, you know, discovering a new species or you know, things like that. Sometimes you can just have a little fun with social media. And this is by far the most shared content I've ever shared on their own Facebook page. So, you know, just a little, you know, piece of advice. It doesn't always have to be serious content. You can have a little fun with social media. It's just that part of how it works. But it's not all fun and games. You do have to be, you know, you do have to make sure that you do have a plan, that you do have a strategy, that you do have objectives. These are our objectives for social media. They're pretty simple. We want to make sure that our social media platforms, our accounts, are fostering a dialogue with our community, that they're timely, responsive, and that we talk to people, you know, that we're saying thank you, that we're giving people validation, things like that. We also want to make sure that we enhance the museum's public profile by increasing awareness and understanding of what the ROM does, of all the different things that happen at the museum. And yeah, sometimes we'll tweet out a T-Rex joke, but more often than not, we're talking about, you know, what the curators are doing in the field, or the tactile tours that are going on the last Thursday of every month, or the ASL tours that happen every month at the museum, things like that. So, and these, we didn't have these before I started. This was part of working with my bosses and with Janet. We've developed our objectives and our strategy moving forward. So, on top of our Facebook and our Twitter feed, these are some of the social media account or platforms that I've experimented with in the last 8 to 9 months. There's a lot of different platforms you can get on and you can use. It gets a little overwhelming at some point. I'm a big advocate of doing 2 or 3 things really well instead of 5 or 6 things poorly. But I really just wanted to see which tools we could use that would increase engagement. So far, I'm not sold on a lot of them. Our Google Plus account, which just launched in January, and we're doing Google Hangouts on air all month, every Tuesday and Thursday. As far as I know, there's only 2 or 3 other museums in the world that are using Google Hangouts right now. It's a really cool live video chat tool. Tune in tomorrow at noon on our website if you want to see one. We're talking bugs tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna talk about some projects now really quickly. I don't want to take up too much time, but if anyone's been to the ROM lately, you would notice these signs in the museum. There's also some in the elevators, but these are just outside the elevator bay on every floor. I'm a big believer that the world's in transition between print and digital right now. Newsweek going all digital, announcing that they would go all digital is a big, you know, it just shows that we're in that transition. So I still felt, and a lot of people at the museum felt, that we still needed signs to visually cue people at the museum, that we do have accounts and that we are talking to people on them. So this is just an example of that. I think it's really important to still have those visual cues that print in your museum. Anyone use Instagram? The fastest growing social media, yeah, it's pretty, yeah. A lot of people take pictures of their food on Instagram, but InstaROM is a project that we launched last fall, and it's a play on an InstaWalk. A lot of different places around the world would have an InstaWalk. You would meet up at a certain location, and you would have a tour guide, and then you would tweet out photos of things you found interesting on that walk using the hashtag InstaWalk. This is a ROMified version. A lot of people take thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of photos of the museum every year. So we wanted to see what people were taking photos of. We wanted to bring those in, and we wanted to see what people found interesting in the museum. We wanted to see it through their eyes, really. So we started this program, and it launched on November 6th. On a Tuesday, which is a free student Tuesday. So people came in, we invited them to take pictures. It was totally open. People could do whatever they wanted, take pictures wherever they wanted. And then we started focusing them on docent tours. We ran them through Friday Night Lives and had about a half-hour tour of different galleries that met with the theme of Friday Night Live. And they weren't so popular, but this first one that we did that we left open, we had about 15 people come, and they shared about 75 photos, which is pretty good for a first try. We're going to keep doing them, and we're going to focus on docent tours on a Saturday or Sunday on a specific gallery, and see how that works, and then go from there. But really, I'm just showing you that there's a lot of things that you can do. This doesn't cost any money to put together. We're already running docent tours. There's already people using Instagram, so it's about bringing that together. So has anyone been to Friday Night Live for the last few? Yeah, I see a couple of hands. So this project I'm really, really proud of. This is a SharePic photo wall. SharePic's a software service that brings in photos shared on Twitter and Instagram. if you tweet them out or share them with the hashtag FNL. And it's completely live. It takes about 5 seconds from when you hit send on your phone to share that. As far as I know, we're the first museum in the world to do a crowdsourcing project like this or on this scale with really no moderation. I trusted the crowd through this. You can see there's, nothing really. People taking pictures of their pictures on the photo wall. It's pretty wild. It got to the point where during Friday Night Live, if there was no lineup at a food station, I could tweet out a photo of that food station and say, hey guys, no lineup. And then 5 minutes later, you'd see a rush of people go to that food station. We also used it to share programming information when the performances were taking place, how late we were open till, when the bars closed, and promote exhibits and things like that. So it is a really cool tool. People, you can see people on dates were sharing photos of themselves. We got some really great shots. We ran it over 8-week period for Friday Night Live last fall. We had about 1,000 contributors, unique contributors, and that shared over 2,000 photos. All of this photo wall is embeddable. We put it on our website on the Friday Night Live page. We can download any of the photos and use them. Great little piece of software. I think we'll probably use it again. A lot of people were really excited that we let them share their experience, but it also showed us what we needed to change for the following weeks or what we needed to update. So it worked both ways. Really happy it worked. And then last but not least, does anyone know? I know Kevin's here, but we have a Wikipedia e-volunteering program. Does anyone know that? This isn't really social media, but I just want to talk about it because, Wikipedia, anyone in the world can edit any article at any time, so it has a bit of a social aspect, but really it's a little bit about scholarship. And I started this program last summer because we had this ongoing conversation with people from Wikipedia, and Jan started it, and we wanted to find a way to collaborate more with Wikipedia, but not spend any money or have a drain on curatorial staff time. So through my friends and through my colleagues in my museum studies program, I found out about the Indianapolis Museum of Art's program. They're the first e-volunteering program, and we're the second. And I called up the coordinator of that program and said, we're interested in doing the same. Would it be all right if we, used your model and things like that? And they said, okay. And so anyone with an interest in anything, any collections item, anything at all at ROM, can sign up for our Wikipedia e-volunteering program and write an article. And like I said, it's free. There's no costs involved. I manage it. It's Wikipedia vets all the articles. They get vetted for bias, spelling mistakes. There are going to be some mistakes, but that's the beauty of Wikipedia. You can go in and change them. One of our Egyptologists found a mistake in an article that someone wrote on one of our mummies, and she emailed me and said, "Hey, I saw a mistake. Can you tell me how to edit this article?" So I went down to her office and showed her how to edit in Wikipedia, and now she's working in Wikipedia, filling out articles with hieroglyphics and CT scans of mummies and things like that. Here's our e-volunteering program hub. You can sign up right there and take part. If you guys don't know, usually Wikipedia shows up. Here's a list of our volunteers. We have about 25 so far for writing articles. Wikipedia usually shows up in the top 3 search returns when you do a search on Google. If there's an image, you can also visually search Google. So you can go up to our dino galleries and take a picture of a dinosaur. If there's a Wikipedia article, which 95% of our dinos have an article now, it'll show up right down there. We don't have an online collections management system at the ROM, so this fills the need for more information about pieces in our gallery. And again, it didn't cost anything to do that. Just last slide here. It's a pretty decent list of people that or museums that were on. Only one in Canada, Smithsonian, British Museum, British Library, National Archives in both US and the UK. So that's on our website. If anyone wants to join up, that'd be great. Appreciate it. So So I've gone through a lot of different projects and things, and I'm running out of time very quickly. So I just want to talk about measurement of social media real quick. ROI of social media is really hard to nail down. There's a million pieces of data that you can measure that people will tell you important. But really, I think it comes back to your objectives, and it comes back to what is important for your organization, your strategy, and all that. For us, these are the three things that we measure. We measure our reach. We want to know how far our message is spreading. We measure our engagement, all the comments, all the shares. A share on Facebook is worth 6 tweets. So we really, when we post something on Facebook, that's what we're going for, the shares. We want people to share our content. Just to give you an idea, we have almost 28,000 followers on Facebook. If each one of those followers shared our content, 8 million people would see our content. So that's why we value shares and sentiment, what people are saying about our organization, if it's negative, positive. Of course, if there's a negative comment, you want to make sure you're on top of that and getting back to people and making sure that you've managed that properly. So that's it for me. Social media, I'm here all day if you have any questions. I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl now, who's going to talk about our website and all the different projects we're doing with that.